Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Good morning. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Jayam Udirayet. Srimvatam Swakatah Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hrive Antasto Hi Abhadrani Vidinoti Suhritsatam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nasruti Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 32, verse 24 and 25. Entanglement in fruitive activities. Verse 24. Yada sachittam ardeshu samesvendriyaviddhibihi na vigrahnati vaishamyam priyam apriyamityuta. Synonyms. Yada, when, asya, of the devotee, chittam, the mind, ardeshu, in the sense objects, samisham, same, indriyaviddhibihi, by the activities of the senses, na, not, vigrahnati, does perceive, vaishamyam, difference, priyam, agreeable, apriyam, not agreeable, he, thus, yuta, certainty. Translation. The exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and non-agreeable. Purport. The significance of advancement in transcendental knowledge and detachment from material attraction is exhibited in the personality of a highly advanced devotee. For him, there is nothing agreeable or disagreeable, because he does not act in any way of his for his personal sense gratification. Whatever he does, whatever he thinks, is for the satisfaction of the personality of Godhead, either in the material world or in the spiritual world. His equipoised mind is completely manifested. We can understand that in the material world there is nothing good. Everything is bad due to its being contaminated by material nature. The materialists' conclusions of good and bad, moral and immoral, etc., are simply mental concoction or sentiment. Actually, there is nothing good in the material world. In the spiritual field, everything is absolutely good. There is no inability in the spiritual varieties. Because a devotee accepts everything in spiritual vision, he is equipoised. That is the symptom of his being elevated to the transcendental position. He automatically attains detachment, vairagya, then jnana, knowledge, and then actual transcendental knowledge. The conclusion is that an advanced devotee details himself in the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and in that sense, he becomes qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse 25. ततदैवात्मनात्मानं निस्सङ्गं समदर्शनं हेयोपादेयरहितम् आरूढं पदमीक्षते. Synonyms. Saha, the pure devotee. Tada, then. Eva, certainly. Atmana, by his transcendental intelligence. Atmanam, himself. Nissangam, without material attachment. Samadarshanam, equipoised in vision. Heya, to be rejected. Upadeya, acceptable. Rahitam, devoid of. Arudam, elevated. Padam, to the transcendental position. Ikshate, he sees. Translation. Because of his transcendental intelligence, The pure devotee is equipoised in his vision and sees himself to be uncontaminated by matter. He does not see anything as superior or inferior, and he feels himself elevated to the transcendental platform of being equal in qualities with the Supreme Person. Purport. Perception of the disagreeable arises from attachment. A devotee has no personal attachment to anything. Therefore, for him, there is no question of agreeable or disagreeable. For the service of the Lord, he can accept anything, even though it may be disagreeable to his personal interest. In fact, he is completely free from personal interest, and thus anything agreeable to the Lord is agreeable to him. For example, for Arjuna, at first fighting was not agreeable, but when he understood that the fighting was agreeable to the Lord, he accepted the fighting as agreeable. That is the position of a pure devotee. For his personal interest, there is nothing which is agreeable or disagreeable. Everything is done for the Lord, and therefore he is free from attachment and detachment. That is the transcendental stage of neutrality. A pure devotee enjoys life in the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Ram Mantra. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishnaaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedante Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavade Paschat जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे I would like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. I want to summarize the verse 24 and 25. Lord Kapla's instructions to Devati is continuing. In verse 24, in verse 24 onwards, Kapil Devi is describing some of the symptoms for such a great devotee. Basically, when somebody is performing bhakti and is being elevated in his consciousness, not in the terms of some position in the in the office and not some position in the society, not like that. Elevation in terms of his consciousness, elevation in terms of his bhakti and his relation of Krishna's sweetness and his relation of Krishna as a protector, Krishna as an enjoyer. What does he do? He is equipoised. That means he is not worried so much about the material aspects. That doesn't mean he is negligent. He is just not suffering from the material conditions. So he says whatever he does, whatever he thinks is for the satisfaction of the personality of Godhead. So that peace is achieved when we try to do everything we can. We are doing for the Krishna's pleasure only. Instead of thinking about me, myself, like that, just we have to think that how how can I get enjoyment from these two? We need to shift our consciousness from how can I serve Krishna through this activity? How can I serve Krishna by taking care of my children? How can I serve Krishna by taking care of my husband? How can I serve Krishna by doing the service at temple like that? When we able to transform this consciousness, then we will remain peaceful. But if you thinking like how can I get more money? How can I get more enjoyment? How can I get more happiness by doing something? Then we will fail miserably. That's what being explained here. Because a devotee is elevated in consciousness, it means thinking about serving Krishna. That is why he is beyond Mars. Because of that, only he is thinking about pleasing Krishna, that automatically takes him beyond Mars. When we become pure devotee like that, when the consciousness is not to enjoy myself but give enjoyment to Krishna, that itself is going beyond the Mars. Like that, at least for that particular moment. Yeah, not necessarily we are liberated completely. So, in this purport, Prabhupada explains by accepting everything in spiritual vision, he is equipoised. That is the symptom of his being elevated to the transcendental position, so that the devotee attains like this detachment, vairagya, jnana. So in yesterday's class also we learned that um, his sense becomes qualitily one with Krishna's. Krishna means being one with desires of Krishna. What Krishna wants from all of us is to be happy. How we needed to be happy is properly through devotion, by engaging in devotional service. And we can try to make others happy by making them engage in the devotional service. How in this creation there are karma, the activities are done for the different purposes. Majority of the people does the activities for the material enjoyment. Very few do activities for the purpose of elevating to higher planetary systems, and then out of that, very few people perform activities which are transcendental, which are pure, which are just only for the purpose of exchanging love between the Supreme Lord and Jivatma. Even though we think that there are good and bad activities in materialistic world, none of the activities are good as they are contaminated by material nature. In materialistic world, good and bad are concluded by one's mental speculation at that point of time, place, and situation. For example, in a conflict between two persons, both of them thinks they are good, right? Yeah, everyone thinks I am good. He is talking some nonsense. But another person is also think the same. It's due to the biased thoughts caused by the personal sense gratification. However, exalted devotees think things in terms of Krishna in all circumstances and views every situation with a equipoised mind due to the vairagya and transcendental knowledge attained from Lord Krishna. Being always immersed in thoughts of Supreme Personality of Godhead, an exalted devotee gets elevated to the transcendental platform of being equal in qualities with Lord Krishna. The same has been discussed by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also in, in the chapter 12th chapter on 8th sloka. Just the sloka says, just fix mind upon me, the supreme personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me without a doubt. That's nice. Yeah, I want to end this here. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice summary.
Hare Krishna.